When you indent text in a document, you effectively move it slightly in from the margin. For example, I'm going to double click to the left of this paragraph and select this paragraph. When I go to the Home tab in the ribbon and the paragraph group, I have two buttons. One is Increase Indent and one is Decrease Indent. When I click the Increase Indent button, I will indent my text slightly from the left. And if you look up in the horizontal ruler, you'll see what's called the Indent Marker has moved in 1.27 centimeters. If I was to click the icon again, I will increasingly indent from the left, and the Indent Marker is moving along the ruler. The Indent Marker is actually jumping to these little nicks in the ruler each time I click it. If I was to click the Decrease Indent, the Indent Marker will jump backwards and eventually take me back to the left margin. The Indent Marker on the left-hand side contains three components. The top Indent Marker is to indent just the first line. If I drag the top Indent Marker, I can indent the first line 2 centimeters, and you can see here just the first line is indented, and it's just the top portion of the Indent Marker that's moved. I can then drag that Indent Marker back to align it back to the left. If I was to grab the middle portion of the Indent Marker and drag it out to 2 centimeters, I've indented everything but the first line. This is known as a hanging indent. To undo that, I'll drag that portion and put it back to the left margin. If I drag the third and bottom part of the Indent Marker and drag it to the left to the 3 centimeters, I've indented completely from the left 3 centimeters. And if I drag it back, I've gone back to the left margin. On the right hand side of the horizontal ruler is another Indent Marker. This is used to indent from the right. If I drag this Indent Marker in, I've indented this paragraph from the right, and I may drag the Indent Marker on the left in and indent from the left. Indenting can be done by dragging the Indent Marker as you've seen, and I'll just put the Indent Markers both back. But indenting can also be done by double clicking the Indent Marker, and I think this is actually easier. Alternatively, you could click the Paragraph Dialog Box launcher and do indentation this way as well. But I'll double click the Indent Marker. When I do so, the Paragraph Dialog Box comes up, and the options between these two lines are to do with indentation. As you can see, when I drag the right Indent Marker back, I didn't quite take it back to 0 centimeters. If I'd like to indent 2 centimeters from the left, I'll put 2 in the left box. And if I wish to indent 2 centimeters from the right, I'll put 2 in the right box. And when I click OK, you can see I've indented exactly 2 centimeters from the right and 2 centimeters from the left. If I double click the Indent Marker, I could put the left back to 0 and the right back to 0, which effectively takes out the indentation. If I want to indent the first line, instead of dragging the top part of the Indent Marker, I could double click the Indent Marker. Besides left and right indentation, we have special indentation, and it's a drop down. If I click the drop down, I can indent just the first line, and I can indent the first line by 1.5 centimeters, and the preview is showing me this as well. If I click OK, I can see I've indented the first line by 1.5 centimeters. If I double click the Indent Marker, I can change first line to hanging. If I choose hanging indent, I can hang this paragraph by 1.5 centimeters, and I'll click OK. So everything but the first line is now indented. If I wish to undo the indentation, I'll double click the Indent Marker, or as I said earlier, I could click the Paragraph Dialog Box launcher. It takes me to the same location. If I then take off hanging and set it to none, I'm back to no indentation. Hanging paragraphs can also be achieved using a shortcut key. The shortcut key for a hanging paragraph is Ctrl-T. If you press Ctrl-T, you'll create a hanging paragraph. And the more I press Ctrl-T, the more of a hanging paragraph it becomes. If I press Ctrl-Shift-T, I will eventually make the paragraph an unhung paragraph with no indentation. Likewise, if I want to indent this paragraph using keys, what Microsoft failed to mention with these two buttons is there's actually a shortcut key to increase the indent and there's a shortcut key to decrease the indent. If I press Ctrl M, I will indent this paragraph from the left, and the more I press Ctrl M, the more I move it. If I wish to unindent it or decrease the indent, I'll press Ctrl Shift M. Each time I press Ctrl Shift M, I'm moving the paragraph back.